there's a number of ways of looking at faith. I think in culture, when we hear the word faith, a lot of people move straight into religious practice and understand faith in those terms. What would you say is a way of speaking?
I think one of the great misunderstandings that we have is that faith is thought to be a religious word, and that it belongs to church people, because that's where you hear that word used all the time. I think that faith is, correctly understood, a word that really means trust. So that really what we should be understanding is that to have faith in something means you trust it. I have faith in my wife because I trust her. Or I have faith in a political system because I trust the people who are the leaders. Or I have faith in the chair I'm sitting on because I trust that it's going to hold me up. So that whatever I trust is what I have faith in. That means that there isn't a person on earth who can live without faith. And that's misunderstood by a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
You hear the expression, does so-and-so have faith?
Yeah.
Which implies that they're religious people.
Mm-hmm.
The fact is that faith is as much a part of what a non-believing person has as well as a believing person.
Mm-hmm.
So that even atheists live by faith.
Okay.
And their faith is as strong to them as our faith is to us.
Right.
Because it's what they trust.
That would lead to, there needs to be an expression of faith, I guess, then, too. Certainly, in the Christian expression of faith, we have what we call sacraments and practices. So we have baptism and communion and so on. How might you describe the expression of faith of someone who says they don't have faith, of an atheist or somebody?
I think that those expressions of faith come out of where our faith really originates. For us as Christian people, we have faith in Jesus because we believe that Jesus spoke for God to us. So we have faith in God because of what Jesus said about God. For Hebrew people, they have faith in what Moses said about the law, because that's the originator of what they believe. And the same with Islamic people as well. Muhammad is the one who originated what they believe God was to them. And so that is equally faith to them. Mm-hmm. It seems to me that out of where those originate, we have various expressions of how we practice that faith.
Okay, yeah.
And how we keep it alive. And as you know, in our church here, we keep that alive through word and sacraments and worship. Mm-hmm. And then added to that, of course, a lot of discussion, so that people grow in their faith. We talk about growth in faith as well. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Would this lead into a sense of doing as well, then?
Well, I think that it almost always has to lead into doing, because whatever you trust is what you give your life to. Mm-hmm. And that incorporates what you practice. Mm-hmm. If you are a Canadian and you believe in Canada, then we practice a Canadian way of life. Mm-hmm. Which means that we become acquainted with Canada, its history. We become aware of who is Canadian. We get to know everything about our own country as much as we can. Mm-hmm. And in the church, we practice that through, as we call, word and sacraments. These are the ways in which we incorporate what we trust into a lifestyle that determines how we live during the week.
At the risk of perhaps sounding like I'm polarizing different ways of believing in Jesus, what would you say to those who say to have faith, you must make a personal profession of faith in Jesus as your Lord and Savior?
I think that depends upon the way in which we interpret again what that trust is and what that faith is. We as Lutherans tend to think of faith as the life that comes once we accept that God has accepted us unconditionally.
It's an acceptance of God accepting us.
And then we call that faith.
Right, not us just saying we accept God as though
That's right.
God is to be had.
It's always God's work first, who has accepted us totally. And when we accept that gift of total acceptance, that's the name we give to faith. Because that creates a new kind of a life that we didn't have before.
So the Lutheran understanding of the Christian faith urges us away from a fundamentalist understanding that we are accepted as we are, and therefore freed to be the fullest beings, fullest person I can be and the fullest person you can be. Yeah.
I think that is what I think the essence of what Paul said in his writings, and particularly in Romans, when he outlined that so clearly. And we've followed that through very much in our theology.